Good day, class. Welcome to another session for Empowerment Technology. In this video, I will talking about the advanced word tools to develop content. But before we start to our discussion in this video, let me ask you, kayo ba ay gumagawa pa rin ba o pinapagawa ng inyong mga teacher gamit yung mga papel ninyo, gamit mo yung pagsulat? Since tayo as a student, we are 21st century learners and we need to be equipped on the integration of ICT or what we call the technology. So in this subject or in this video, we will talking about all of the apps or technology we will use by the students, by the person, or etc. So for that, para mapabilis ang ating buhay o mapadali ang ating buhay, gagamit tayo ng makabagong teknolohiya by the use of the Microsoft Word. Okay, so let's start. So let me present the definition of the Microsoft Word. So what is Microsoft Word? Microsoft Word is a word processing application developed by the Microsoft Corporation. So what is the function of the Microsoft PowerPoint? So the function of the Microsoft PowerPoint is that it let you create documents for your assignments, term papers, research work, letters, and certificate, or just edit any text document. So those are the functions of the Microsoft Word, and the advantage of using this Microsoft Word, it is technologically based. So pwede kayo makapag-create ng, pwede nyo pagandahin yung yung nilalaman ng ating document file, and as well as pwede tayong magdagdag ng pictures and so on and so forth. So that is the definition and the advantage of the Microsoft Word. So let's take a look what are the features of the Microsoft Word. So we have so many feature of the Microsoft Word, and as a student of the empowerment technology, you need to know this four important feature of using the Microsoft Word. So the first one is the citation and the bibliography. The second one is the check spelling and grammar. Third one is the tracking changes, and the fourth one is the protecting documents. So we will discuss on how this feature working out on the Microsoft Word. So let's first discuss all about the citation and bibliography.
Hi and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Today I'm going to talk about creating citations in Microsoft Word, how to manage your sources, and then how to insert a bibliography into Microsoft Word. I'll be using 2016 today for my Microsoft Office, and so let's go ahead and get started. So what you're looking at now is a report in MLA format that I've started working on, and now I get to a point where I need to insert citations into it. So I can see page 1 is right here, and at the end of this paragraph right here that says, or on page 2 rather, that says according to an article. Where is that? Right here, sorry, on page 1. According to an article, at the end of that paragraph, I'm going to click right before the period there, and then I'm going to insert a citation. So the way that you do that is you go right up here to the References tab, and then under Citations and Bibliography, you could go right here to insert citation, and if it's a new source, you just add in that new source right there. Now this brings up the Create Source dialog box, and it has all these different options for what type of source that you can put into your Word document, and so I'm just going to choose Journal Article. Okay, so journal article, what you're going to do is you're going to type in the author right here. And so after I type in the author's name, instead of using my hand to go back and choose the title down here, I'm just going to press tab a few times. Now we already learned about moving through tables in Microsoft Word. And so remember to just hit tab to move forward and then Shift tab to move backwards. So I just typed in the title right there. Now I'm going to type in the journal name. All right, and so I just move ahead to the next one. It'll talk about the publishing year, the pages that you got the information from. That's typically how you'll get information from a journal, is on specific pages, because it'll have lots of different types of articles within it. So here we go. So we got that, and I click OK, and great. We see right here, Brash, which is our author, now appears right there. Again, it's important to click right before the period. That way, the author will appear before the period. So usually we're going to, since we're in MLA format, and again, you're going to want to go right up here to references, citations, and bibliography, and make sure that it is MLA format. In this case, that's the version, or that's the type that we are using, or the style that we're using. And so now, let's say I wanted to show those pages right here on the actual document itself. I'm going to click on Brash, and I'm going to go right down here, and I'm going to go to Edit Citation, right? And so right here, I could actually, once I go to Edit Citation, you see Edit Citation, and I'm going to add in those page numbers, 136 to 142. So then I click OK, or press enter, and now it says Brash 136 to 142. So that's looking good. So that's how you typically want that source to look. And so I'm going to add in another one right now at the top of page 2. So at the top of page 2 right here, we see this according to Dr. E. Gibson. So we're going to need to insert another source here. Again, don't really worry about too much about what this text says or anything. For your reports, it's going to be different. But for this one, we just want to go over how to actually insert the source itself. So I'm going to click to the left of the period and then insert a citation for a website. Okay, and so right here, I clicked right after the word discarded, and now this time I'm going to insert citation, and I already see Brash is right here now, so that's kind of cool. We could just add that back in if we wanted to, but this one's going to be a new source, and this one's going to be based off of a website. So all these different source types here, I find website is right there, and now we see a completely different set of options here. Okay, and so that's important. Depending on what type of source you use, it'll give you a different set of options. So when you're looking at a website, you're going to want to make sure that you get that website's author, or the author of the article that you read from that website. And then you're going to go to the name of the web page, and that's going to be the article that you read from on the website, or the name of the page, or whatever it happens to be. So then you'll type in the year, the date, the month, and then you go to year accessed. So sometimes the web pages will be a little older, sometimes they'll be newer. Just look for whichever one it is. And so just make sure you get all that information in there, and then you click OK. And there we go. Now we see Gibson's name is right there. Now on this one, we wouldn't really need page numbers because it's not an article or a book. So we don't really need to put anything after that. So now I'm going to scroll down to page 3. So I see page 3 is down here. And at the end of the paragraph that begins because of this effect, I'm going to need another source right there. So I'm going to click to the left of the period at the end of the source, all right, where the source needs to go. And then I'm going to insert a citation for a book this time. So I'm going to go here to the References tab again, Citations and Bibliography. I click on Insert Citation. I got a new source right here. And on this source, let's make it a book this time. And so not a book section. Let's see where's that one for a book? There it is, the top one. All right, so I see the book right here. And so now I'm going to type in the book's author. And then I'll go to the title of the book. So again, this research paper happens to be on dermatology. So it's going to be a book about the guide to whole skincare for life. Okay, and so after I get this one in, we're going to get ready for that bibliography. Okay, so there we go. I type in all this information, and once I have that information typed in, I click OK. All right, so there we go. After I click OK, I see down here we have the author, but again, this one is a book, so I actually want to get that actual page that we referenced. We want the citations to list the page if possible. So I'm going to go and click again, just so you can see. You click on the name LaFell, and then you click Citation Options, and you can edit the citation to add in the page. In this case, it's page 96. and I click OK. And now we see that 96 is displayed right there. So now I'm going to go to the end of the document. And so since I'm doing some editing here, I definitely want to turn on my paragraph markers. So I'm going to go to the Home tab, Paragraph Group, and I'm going to click right here for the paragraph markers. And I see that this is my last page. This is the end of the document. So what I'm going to do is insert a page break. Okay, whenever we're doing a bibliography page, we want to make sure that that references or bibliography or citations page always is on a separate page than the one that our actual report is on. So I want to insert in a manual page break. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab. And so right here we see under the page break section, or under the pages group rather, we see page break. So I put that page break in, and you can just see it right there. And so now I'm down here on the 4th page. And so I insert the page break, and now I want to display that paragraph dialog box. And so right here in the Home tab, I could go to the paragraph group, and if I click the paragraph settings dialog box right here, it's again that little tiny icon in the bottom right of the paragraph group. I could click that. And I want to change the indentation to none for down here. So special indentation is first line. I don't want there to be any indentation when I do my works cited page. Okay, so right down there, I click none, and then I click OK. All right, so that should be none. Now I want to add a title in. So I'm going to type in works cited and then press enter. And now I'm going to insert the bibliography onto the page. So to insert a bibliography, it's actually a lot easier than you might think. So a lot of people, when you're in class, they say, oh, you know what, let me handle the citations and bibliography. You don't fall for that. You know, make sure that they're doing their work too, and because it's actually really easy to insert a bibliography onto a Word document. You just go to the References tab and the Citation and Bibliography group, and you click right here on bibliography, and then you see all these different options here. So I'm going to just insert in bibliography. And so if I click that right there, there we go. We have our bibliography added right onto our page. And so that's pretty much how you would insert that in. So now what I could do is always I could change the options for this bibliography. So after I clicked on insert bibliography, I'm going to basically want that double line spacing and then the spacing after to be 0 point for this. And I want to center this works cited title. So right here, works cited, I'm going to do Control E as in Edward to center that title. And so again, now I want to change the options down here, okay? And so I have these different options, and so again, I wanted to change the paragraph settings, so I go to the Home tab, Paragraph Group, and I click Paragraph Settings dialog box. Now I'm going to change the line spacing to double, right? And then it also said we want to change that spacing after to 0, so 0 point right there. So again, that's the amount of space after each paragraph, and I click it. And there we go. Now we see everything is double spaced. Everything's looking good here. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is right here it says update citations and bibliography. Anytime that you change a source, you're going to want to make sure that you guys click that update citations and bibliography. So if I went in and say I changed the Lawrence Gibson report, I'm going to make sure that I update that that document properties, or if I add in a new source that I click update, that way it updates along with it. So so that's how you enter in a bibliography onto your Word 2016 documents. That's how you insert different types of sources. So I hope this video was useful to you. If you have any questions,
So class, that is for the citation and bibliography. Very important as a student as well as in your research or in your practical research paper, that you need to cite the citation as well, the sources, and as well as the bibliography that you're used in your research. So to avoid plagiarism and the problems encountered in creating your research paper, so you need to cite from the informations that you've got from the internet, from the book, from the journal, and etc. So very important that you need to know about the citation and bibliography. So let's move on to the check spelling and grammar.
We all make mistakes when we type. Luckily, Word comes with several different tools that can help you proofread your document and correct any mistakes. Let's take a look. To run a full spelling and grammar check, go to the Review tab, click the Spelling and Grammar command, and a pane will appear on the right. From here, Word will walk you through the errors in your document. To correct an error, simply click one of the suggestions. This will update your document and take you to the next error automatically. Now, spell check isn't perfect. Sometimes it'll say a word is spelled wrong when it isn't, like people's names, street names, and other unique proper nouns. If that happens, you have a couple different options. Ignore once will skip the word one time without changing it. Ignore all will skip the word every time it appears in your document. You can also add the word to your dictionary so it never comes up as an error again. Just make sure the word is spelled correctly before you go with this option. At this point, even though I'm not done, I'm going to close the spelling and grammar pane so we can take a look at the automatic spelling and grammar check instead. By default, Word is actually designed to detect spelling and grammar errors while you type. That's what these little colorful lines are for. So you can check your document manually, like I just showed you, or you can refer to the marks and make corrections as you go. Here's how it works. Red means that there's a spelling error. To correct it, all you have to do is right-click, then choose the proper spelling from the menu. Blue means that there's some kind of grammatical error. In this example, it looks like I used the wrong word in the context of the sentence. I should have used their, as in let's have a party at their house. Word can be pretty good at picking up on errors like this, but there are certain things it's set to ignore by default, including sentence fragments, poor sentence structure, and other common grammar mistakes. To include these things in your grammar check, you'll need to adjust the default proofing settings. To do this, go to the Backstage view, click Options in the left pane, then navigate to Proofing in the dialog box. To customize your grammar settings, look for Writing Style near the bottom of the window. Then click the Settings button to the right, and another dialog box will appear. Here you can turn specific items on or off to better suit your needs. There are still lots of other ways that you can customize your settings depending on your preferences. For instance, you can stop Word from marking spelling and grammar errors while you type if the feature ever gets annoying. You can also turn off frequently confused words, like there versus there. Keep in mind, your spelling and grammar choices only apply to your copy of Word. So if you ignore any errors or add a word to your dictionary, for example your name, those colorful lines will reappear when you send the document to someone else. You can avoid this issue by hiding spelling and grammar errors in this particular document. Just check the two boxes near the bottom of the window. When you're done, click OK, and now those errors are hidden. If you use this option, you'll still want to make sure there are no actual errors in your document, so you may want to run another spelling and grammar check before sending the document to someone else. This feature can be really useful as long as you're confident that your document is correct. It's still a good idea to have someone look over your work just to make sure Word hasn't missed anything important.
So class, that is for check spelling and grammar. Do you remind everyone that we going to check and the spelling and also the grammar. Hindi lahat sa pagkakataon o sa lahat ng oras ay tama yung mismong computer at saka mismong sa in-input mong mga sentences. So bear in mind that we need to recheck it again and again for us to be there would be no errors in your document. So that is the purpose of the check spelling and grammar. So let's talk about now the third feature of the Microsoft Word, that would be the track changes and the comments.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
If you were to print a copy of your document and ask a friend to proofread it, they'd probably mark the errors in red pen and write any suggestions they had in the margins. Wouldn't it be easier if you could do that electronically? In Word, you can, using two features called Track Changes and Comments. I'm going to turn on Track Changes right now so I can show you what I mean. To do this, go to the Review tab, then click the Track Changes command. Now, any changes I make to the document will appear as a markup, which is Word's answer to the traditional red pen. For example, when I delete text, it doesn't go away. It just gets crossed out. When I add more text, it gets underlined. This lets the owner of the document see what changes I've made before making them part of the final draft. You can also add comments in the margins by selecting the text you want to comment on, then clicking the New Comment command. In this example, it would be best to address the letter directly to the hiring authority, so that's what I'm going to suggest. When you're done, press the Escape key or click anywhere outside of the comment box to close it. So how does it work if you're on the other end of the document? Well, as the original author, it's up to you to accept the changes to make them permanent or reject them if you disagree. Take this change here. Just select it with your cursor, then go to Accept to keep it, or Reject to go back to the original text. You can even open the menus underneath the commands and accept or reject all the changes in the document at once. I'm going to accept just this one change. To remove any comments, start by selecting the comment box, then go to the Delete command. If you have multiple comments, you can delete just the current one, or you can delete them all at once. At this point, you might find it helpful to view some of the markup off to the side instead of in the text itself. This should make the document a little bit easier to read. First, go to the Show Markup command, then Balloons. Now click Show Revisions in Balloons, and many of the changes will move to the right margin, though any added text will still appear in line. If you want to hide all of the changes temporarily, take a look at the options in the menu here. Right now, what we're seeing is the final version of the document, but with all the changes and revisions still visible. Choose No Markup, and the markup will disappear, so we can see what the final draft might look like with all the changes in place. There's one thing to keep in mind though, and this is very important. Hiding the markup isn't the same as accepting all the changes. You still need to accept or reject the changes in your document before you send out the final version. Let's say someone reviewed and edited your document, but forgot to turn on Track Changes. It's still possible to accept or reject the changes they made using a neat feature called Compare. To get started, click Compare on the Review tab, then click Compare again. You'll need a copy of your original document and also of the revised version. When you're ready, click OK. At this point, Word will compare the two documents and come up with a list of changes that were made between them. Over here is my original document, the version that someone else revised, and in the middle is the combined version with full markup, as if the Track Changes feature was turned on all along. Word was able to put this together based on the comparison of the two documents. Now you can accept or reject the changes just like I showed you before. All of these features can be a huge help when it comes to collaborating on projects. They make it easy to keep track of revisions and communicate ideas back and forth, so you can work on the same document with friends, families, or coworkers.
Okay, class. So that is for the tracking changes and comments. So very important din yan, lalong-lalo na kapag magpapa-revise kayo o magpapa-check kayo ng inyong research paper or mga some of the documents or your assignments to your teacher and to your classmates. So pwede din kayo makipag-collaborate sa iba by the use of this the Microsoft Word. That is the tracking changes. So next to that is the inspect and protecting document.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life.
Before you share an important document with someone else, there are a couple of things you can do to finalize and protect it. You'll find everything you need in the Backstage view. The Inspect Document feature will let you remove any hidden personal information that's stored in the file. It'll also check for document elements that you generally don't want in a final draft. For example, track changes that you forgot to accept or reject. Some of the changes from the inspector can't be undone, so it's a good idea to save an extra copy before you continue. When you're ready, go ahead and click Check for Issues, choose Inspect Document from the menu, then click Inspect in the dialog box. The results will appear with an exclamation mark next to anything that may contain sensitive information. In this example, it looks like there are some hidden document properties and personal info, and also some comments that I forgot to delete, which can happen when markup for track changes is turned off. I definitely don't want these things in the final draft, so I'm going to take this opportunity to remove them. Just click the button to the right that says Remove All, and Word will erase the data instantly. I'm also going to remove the personal information the inspector found because the people I'm sharing with just don't really need access to that. And when you're done, click the Close button. Now that our document has been finalized, we can protect it to prevent people from making any further changes. This step is optional, but it's a great way to control who's allowed to view or edit your work. All you have to do is click the Protect Document command and make a selection from the menu. Some of these options offer a high level of protection, such as Encrypt with Password, which is good for really important or sensitive documents. If you don't need that much security though, you might want to consider one of the other options. In this case, I'm going to choose Mark as Final, which will make the document read-only. This will discourage people from making any more changes to the file and also let them know that this is the final draft. Once you make your selection, click OK to confirm, then OK again, and the setting will be applied. Now when anyone opens the file, they'll see this little bar at the top of the window, and they won't be able to type or delete anything. Now if they do need to make changes, they can just click the button that says Edit Anyway. So in short, this option doesn't provide any actual security for your document, but it's a good way to keep people from changing or deleting something by accident. Okay, so now you know some ways to finalize and protect your documents before sending them out to others.
Okay, class, that is for the inspect and protecting document. So very important in the very important then we need to inspect and also to protect our document kung ito ay final na para wala na magkakaroon ng changes and para magka-avoid natin yung mga accidents na mapapalitan yung some informations na nandun na pero dinilit ng ibang tao. So by doing this, very important din itong feature na to, lalong-lalo na sa research ninyo or sa assignment ninyo. So that is the inspect and protecting document. So let's move on to the last feature of the last feature of the Microsoft Word. This is additional feature. This would be the keyboard shortcuts.
Keyboard shortcuts are a combination of keys you can press on your keyboard to perform a variety of tasks you'd typically use a mouse to do. I'm going to show you a few simple yet essential keyboard shortcuts. To select all text in a document at once, press Ctrl-A on your keyboard. I'm going to copy and paste this text into a new document. To copy the selected text, press Ctrl-C. Now to paste the text, press Ctrl-V. To undo the last action, in this case pasting the text, press Ctrl-Z. Press Ctrl-Y to redo the last action, and the text is repasted into the document. Now that the text is in a new document, I want to save my work. Quickly save a document by pressing Ctrl-S. Finally, the document can be printed by pressing Ctrl-P. Give keyboard shortcuts a try, and you'll find out just how useful they can be.
So those are the basic keyboard shortcuts that we are commonly used in the Microsoft Word. So para hindi na tayo gumamit ng mga mouse or ililipat yung cursor dun sa iba't ibang parte ng screen natin. So by the use of these keyboard shortcuts are mapapadali na natin ang ating buhay pag sa pindot-pindot pa lang. Okay? So those are the five features of the Microsoft Word. And as for us to know all about the Microsoft Word, I will share the link below on the description box, so you can watch all other features of the Microsoft Word. So this in this video, so this is the end of the video discussion for lesson for Microsoft Word. So if you have any questions, that just comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you, class, for listening in this video.